So if historically we lived in, historically as in all of human existence, most of it we lived in tribal societies, and so we would have been raising our children with a group of folks around us who would all have helped care for the child. And the child would have grown up with 10, 12, maybe caregivers during their early years. And so we would have had this spreading around of the needs of a child into the community. And so as parents, we would have had a lot of support for our children, getting all of their needs met, and someone always kind of being available, right? It didn't require one particular person to always be available. So, which is what's happened in our current situation, is we have one or maybe two adults at home who are entirely responsible for one or more children, and so many needs that they may not be able to meet all the time because there's so much other work to do, right? There's care for the family itself, there's care for the household, not to mention working, right? So what do we do if historically we would have had all of this support and we're feeling it now in this isolation? The Surgeon General's report that came out in August of this year suggested that parents are more depressed, more isolated, and finding things more difficult than ever. And so what do we do? It's hard in this climate to do that because not everybody is parenting the same way as us. We may have been hurt by our own parents in our growing up years, and we don't want this repeated on our children. And so understandably, we're really wary of having this community of people, right? So I would suggest that instead of trying to solve the problem directly, that we actually back up a little bit and solve the first problem that happened, which is that because we were also raised by isolated parents, we have been undermothered. We did not have 10 or 12 people taking care of us when we were kids. We were often left to our own devices with peers. Things may have gone badly. We may have had immature or under mature caregivers in terms of babysitters or something. That could have also been true of the adults in our lives. For me, that was totally true. I learned early not to trust adults. So what do? We have to start, I think, with remothering ourselves. We need to start by reconnecting to our own resources, for us to start to pull together a complete inner mother who can not only take care of our children, but can take care of us. And when we do that, we end up with a greater capacity to hold all of the things that are happening. We are better able to communicate what's true and what's actually going on in any given situation. And we're able to reduce what we feel like we need to do kind of to the basics. Because when we ignore the basics and we do all these other things that might look fancy and great, we are likely still isolating in this, or parenting in this isolation, and that is still transmitting to our children. So good luck out there. And first thing is to really take good care of yourself and learn where your resources are, find out what's working well for you, and double down on those things. Good luck out there.